Hello, I'm Michael Redmond, professional Go player. This is the third video about a game between Wallerdog and Freeofme. In this video, I'll be looking at a late middle game position where black invades white's area. So let's start with looking at the moves up to that point. In the first video of this miniseries, I talked about the avalanche Joseki. So if you're interested in that one, there will be a link somewhere on the screen and in the video description. This move is a move that has been played for centuries, a very popular way to invade black's area. In modern days with AIs, we do see slightly different ideas. So far, black has done a good job of attacking the white group, and I had some ideas about how black should continue the attack. So that was the second video, and there will be a link somewhere on the screen and in the video description. So there were some issues with how black attacked this white group, and when white played this move at h15, the group was fairly well settled. White's attachment here was a clever Tetsuji, and white managed to live. Although, yes, the way white did it did give black that territory on the right side. So this is where we will continue with a video of the actual game with me talking to the players, and then later there will be a game review. Okay, so that finishes the local fight. And it's sort of a good trade. Like black got secured that territory on the right, and it's bigger than it was before.
4, 3,
and
2,
you have Sente.
1.
So what do you want to do
Left.
with what direction do you want to go?
I want to reduce his possibility of territory down here.
Yeah.
He's got a weakness here because, I mean, it could be cut if I threaten that. I'm thinking he's going to have to respond, which would allow me to make
10,
a two-space extension.
8, 7, 6, 5.
Word. I go here.
Yeah, I think I've seen him in my live streams
9,
also sometimes.
8.
And he's good at doing variations for me and stuff like that after the match, which is appreciative.
Hey, wow. Wonder who's trying to kill who.
I think this is a bad move I just played, though, actually. That shape is bad.
I like bad shapes.
Unfortunately, but actually, let's do this. This sounds fun.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Run!
I think yeah.
Okay. Okay, you can find a full version of the video of this game at Wallerdog's channel, and a link for that can be found in the description of this video. So here I'll just show you a relatively short version of the game, and some comments. I'll add some comments to clarify. So here, I think white is getting into a bit of trouble here, because white did play too many moves in the center, and so the fight is sort of sliding to the left, which will reduce white's potential territory in that area. But it is a very exciting fight that's happening here. So black probably could have lived with a cut on the second line, so just one variation would, for instance, this looks live enough. And maybe black will play this one first. And if white plays here, black can play a bamboo joint to attack white in the center. So this looks like it would be a bit dangerous for white. So here, yes, white's corner was actually probably okay. So black would have been in trouble if white had pushed here or had played the knight's move, I believe. It's probably safer to push and then play a knight's move. And here it would have been more difficult if white had extended here. So this would have been the better move. It's becoming a pretty vicious fight here. When white pushed here, this did give black the opportunity to escape out in the center. And now black is going to capture, probably going to capture the 4 white stones in the center. Might have been easier for black to play here. Black's group on the left is actually okay because it can connect underneath here. Okay. Here, black did not need to answer that, so white got a break, and the white group is escaping. But the white group on the left side is in a bit of trouble, so it's getting squeezed here. The white group is now alive, and this is where we stop the game. So it's actually fairly close. Maybe I would say it's a small advantage for black, but probably not the kind of position where someone would usually resign. So although the game record says that black won by resignation, they just finished the game to make it easier for me to finish my commentary. So I wouldn't really call it a win for black right out. So from here on, we will now watch the review that I did immediately after the game. It's a kind of a position where I'm not sure of the direction of play. And it's because when you're thinking of which direction to play, in this case, you would be looking at the left side of the board, and you would be looking at the bottom side of the board. So there's 2 areas that are potential white territories, and you have to decide which is more important. And the 2 things to look at are the size, which obviously is the bottom side here.
Right.
But you also are looking for weak stones. So like, for instance, if you were to play something like this, you would be focusing on the fact that those white stones are not alive yet. And so, like, ideally, yeah, just to make it easy for black, but ideally, if you get to play something like this, and white is forced to add a stone like this somehow, and then you get to play towards the bottom side also, you're sort of getting both ways. You're getting to erase the left side, and then you're getting into the bottom side also. So a kind of a pattern like this would be what you would be aiming for. And of course, your opponent is going to try to avoid that. So I can't really say what's going to happen. But this would be the kind of the perfect image that you would have, that you would be hoping for. So that's actually an idea that you could have had. You could have had the idea of invading the left side. But when you're not sure, going for the wide area is the safe way to go for it. So like, you could have played here, I guess. Approaching the corner enclosure like this is a way that you can be looking at some weaknesses in it. So like if you peep here next, that's a weakness in the Shamari. So for instance, let's make a diagram. So if white plays here and you play here, and white tries to cut you off, that means you're going to be creating a weakness. You get to cut here maybe. And so that would be a completely different fight, but maybe it's trouble for white. So if white wants to avoid that, white would be connecting here. It means you get to connect up to your stone here. So something like this. You're probably going to survive. Like if white extends up, then maybe you're going to live there. It's a life and death thing. So yeah. There's a whole thing about this shape. It happens so often in strong players' games. It's actually, you go back to white 12. Like if you start thinking whether or not white should be throwing in here or not, that means you're a top amateur player. But yeah, so let's not get into that one. If someone knows this, then they don't need me telling them. Yeah. So so like I was talking about the left side, and I was talking about the bottom side in the context of move. You note that I'm sort of close to the lower left corner here, and that's because the lower left corner is in the center of everything. So like it's in the center of the left side and the bottom side, and you want to get close to that. So when black plays here, actually this was an opportunity for white to sort of have an image of a territory like this, and this stone, you were threatening to cut it off, but it's not really all that relevant. So, so for instance, if white plays something like this, and black pushes through here, and white pushes here, you can see white is gradually trying to put some pressure on these stones, like white did in the game. There's the fact that they have the potential connection underneath, but nonetheless, like just sort of putting some gradual pressure there. And it doesn't matter if black captures this stone, because white's getting more area on the left. So like it's not a big enough area for it to matter. So this just giving up this area would have been a winning strategy for white. And ideally, white's going to get a kind of a square area here. So the more space white gets in this general area, the better. And that's why I was sort of looking at moves that were close to the lower left corner here. So sort of getting a grasp on the focus, what the kind of a pinpoint area that should be the focus of your intention, and then you have to choose which side you want to approach it from.
Okay.
So that was what I was talking about with these two moves.